Rock and roll, rock and roll. All right, so ladies and gents, boys and girls, crypto fans and crypto lovers of all shapes, sizes, colors, and nationalities and all that. So we have Darren Bradbury here, and he is the CEO or one of the co-founders of My Passive Trades. And so this is going to be, well, I won't say it's a groundbreaking interview, but the first interview since the restructuring of My Passive Trades has taken place. And so we'll get into it and ask questions that people want to know about with respect to what's happening with the platform, the direct, questions that people have with how do I get my money? Things are so different than they were before. Now I have to go to an exchange. And as I noticed, there's a lot of different options. So, we'll get into some of those options and try to, brush through them without, me rambling on and taking too much time. So, so Darren, basically, let me go ahead and ask you, and of course, I'll share my screen and then we'll, run through the, as far as the actual platform, looking at it from the dashboard, so people can, essentially get a tutorial for how to take their money off. Because if I'm not mistaken, now that the way the platform is done, payments or the payout, right, the earnings that people get from the new packages, which I also will ask as far as the forever ad packs. I guess let's just start off with that. So when you've changed, because we initially had the silver and gold ad packs, right? And then we moved to the platinum ad packs. Actually, if you can give a brief history on why we actually switched from the silver and gold to the platinum before we talk about the forever ad packs.
Okay, so from the silver and gold to the platinum, it was just a technical upgrade. So the platinum works in a slightly different way. It was a special reader going directly across to the databases, of which allowed for, as we grew, it became a better requirement because we were drawing so much data. So it allowed it in such a way that it would draw data instead of for everybody at the same time. It would draw data for individuals as they logged into their accounts. So it would obviously, as they logged into their account, it would work out the time. So if you hadn't logged in for say 3 days, it would give you the 3 days worth of earning there. If you logged in once a day, the earnings would be there based on what should be there at that precise moment, based on whichever packs you had.
Okay. And so, now so the platinum ad packs are, no longer available now, right? Because effectively, when people are seeing this video, I don't know, they'll come across it. Some people immediately after I upload it, some people won't see it, for another month or 3 or 4 months down the line. But you changed, and I guess you and Nabil came to a decision that you needed a restructuring because I got, as did everyone, right, that was posted on the main page before you even log in, that showed this long message that effectively went through why you're going through this change. And so right now, again, to make this point that, we've just recently gone through this, and we still are going through this, corona pandemic that's changed everything. It really has changed the financial world, and definitely the crypto world has been affected. So with that, because you guys were trading Forex as one of the income streams, bringing in money, right, for people to essentially get their, what we called rewards off, from their ad packs that they were using for the revenue, essentially the ad packs, but the bonus that they were getting for purchasing those ad packs were, a portion of that was coming from the Forex trading.
Forex trading, crypto trading. If I explain really in a brief bit of detail on that. So when the pandemic started, okay, just whatever people's views are of the pandemic up and down the scale, the thing from our perspective, and that obviously for we as portfolio managers and with the trading team need to look at, is the actual effect that it causes, of which was outright uncertainty from top to bottom, which from a trading aspect is extremely dangerous. Obviously, you've got to trade where we were with the kind of fixed kind of goal frame that we had. We needed to trade with high volumes. I mean, we still do to a degree, but we can relax it more now. But yeah, we had to trade with high volumes, and it wasn't a safe environment to be trading high volumes in. Was it going to go up? Was it going to go down? Flick a coin. And that's about the probability that you would, even as an educated trader, be able to come to.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like when they announced, the Trump administration announced that there wouldn't be any more European flights coming into the States. Boom, the crypto markets dropped like instantly. I remember that was, I think, at 4:15 in the morning, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm a crypto head, and so I keep all kind of crazy hours at night. And I think I had actually just fallen asleep and had woken up maybe a few hours after that. I mean, literally like 2 hours or so. And yeah, to have seen crypto or Bitcoin drop from, I think it was around 6,800 or something like that, and it went down to I think for a brief second it touched 3,800 and then started to climb back up.
Yeah, it come down from actually above that. It was actually around 776 was the high that it had along that kind of region before it all kicked off. And yeah, we saw a sharp drop. It was about 15%, and then we saw a drop that was closer to about 30%. The one that you were talking about there. We weren't in the market at the time. The trades that we had open were very small and was able to come out, which was obviously a fantastic, and that's all down to the trading team, nothing to do with me. But yeah, the problem that we had is that we wasn't in the market, but we were watching the market. When can you re-enter the market? If you can't enter the market, you can't make money. Of which, to be honest with you, with the old plan, a large reason behind the restructuring was stability. But also it gave us the flexibility to be able to work with the market, as opposed to us needing to hit. The thing that will damage most traders is trading when you shouldn't. 90% of traders fail because they trade when they shouldn't, because they chase the profit when it isn't a good environment to be doing it, but because they're in that kind of mentality that they want to make the profit, they go for it. And so, yeah, because of that, with the new plan, it does allow us the extra breathing space, let's say, in being able to move with the market and take the moves, as opposed to needing to make the profit on a much quicker time frame.
What was the, was the plan, further down the line to do something like this and have a restructuring? Because, you guys were really well known for being, outside of a few occasions where there was like a server issue where the server, the site was super slow at one point, or rather, I think maybe only once that I can even recall that the site was down while you guys, switched over the data to another server. But was there a plan to do something like this even prior to this, craziness taking place? Would you have done this had that not happened?
Right, so to answer the question, is it something that we thought of? Is it something that we'd pre-planned? Absolutely not. We were very comfortable with the system, to be honest. We were very comfortable with the system. It was only when we had never before, in three and a half years of Nabil actively trading for us in our team, so to speak, as well as for the company, we'd never seen anything like it. We'd been through bull markets, we'd been through bear markets, we'd been through low volume periods, we'd been through high volume periods, we'd been through periods of mass opportunity, like in a bull run phase where liquidity is extremely high, volumes really high, lots of opportunity. We'd been in through the bear stages. We thought bear stages could be as bad as what it gets. No, the honest truth is no, we didn't. Just I don't think anybody was really prepared for this. It wasn't the fact that the market was moving and the trading perspective is a good thing, and you can make money with it no matter which way it's moving. The problem with it was that all that it took was for one, and it's still like it today, not as affected, but in the early stages especially, all it took was for one person from the World Health Organization or Donald Trump or Boris Johnson or one world leader to come out and make a statement to make the market drop or pump within a matter of minutes, going up or down. And which way is it going to go? You don't know. You know, it was too dangerous to be able to trade with the volume of which that we needed to at the particular time. The actual problem also that it causes more than anything is it causes panic. Panic is obviously in the industry in general isn't great. In trading especially, it's terrible across all of the markets. So no, it's not something that we'd pre-planned. It's something that we found ourselves in a position, to be honest, of bugger. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, I think that's a really honest answer, and I appreciate the honesty because, again, I can only imagine. You know, I mean, I'm not a seasoned trader at all. I mean, I wouldn't even call myself a novice trader because, but that absolutely makes sense that a news story could change everything. I mean, because that's what, like I said, the Donald Trump administration announcing that I knew that shit was going to hit the fan. I knew it. When they said that you can't fly, or at least European flights, I think that you could still fly from the UK at the time. But as far as all other European centralized countries, you weren't able to fly direct as you have normally been.
The thing is that it was just the sheer uncertainty. And yes, we paused the system for a week. But from that point, it opened us up to be able to see the weaknesses in the system and weaknesses in systems of its nature. And I can obviously say this from the inside of actually running one. And that's obviously that we paused it because it was the only logical thing to do at that point. We couldn't make the money. So if we continued it, then obviously it would run to be a Ponzi scheme, right?
Right.
So we paused it. And we looked from that perspective. But the thing is that at that point, we didn't know. Everybody wanted to know how long it was paused for. Just like everybody in the world at this current time wants to know how long we're in lockdown or how long we can't go outside our houses for. Yeah. We didn't have the answers to give. We didn't know the answers ourselves. So for us, theoretically, we'd sat there, we'd gone over numerous different plans, we'd thought, but this could potentially be the same for weeks. It could be the same for weeks. It could then get better for a couple of months, and then we could see recession type things on the other side. The market over the next few months is going to be wild. So from our perspective, it was kind of a complete level of uncertainty ourselves for the future. So we said the only real logical thing that we can do in order to make sure that people can still be earning as well is to only pay out on the profits that we can actually accumulate during that phase. Doing that on the basis of packs, where you have packs expiring and that, it becomes extremely complicated. So we decided that we'd switch it over. So we just went over to the new style, where in that way we only pay out on profits, and it's profits constantly from the profit of the company. So all of the company profits essentially go to 70% goes across to users, 20% goes to rebuilding, and 10% goes across to our blockchain. That's the easiest method that we could find to make sure that we always maintain stability. If anything like this ever happens again, if we can't trade for a week, we can't trade for a week. But there's not the expectation of a certain amount when something happens, you know.
Right.
to understand the fluctuation. We go into bull times, then the market's going to be sky high. You know, the sky's the limit. If we're in something like this, it allows us to be able to almost go into safety mode, you know, so that on the other side of this, we can come out of it 5 times stronger.
Mm. Well, so I guess this brings me to a point of, I guess, just stating the fact. So the 1.5 or 1.25% per day is no longer.
Yeah, so out of that 1.25% per day, I mean, we actually run consistently at 1% per day. The thing that people actually need to remember is the profit off of those packs was only actually just over 0.2% per day. 0.2% per day, 6% per month was the profit that was actually accumulated off of it. The rest of that was return of capital. So this month just gone, we've already, technically, we've still got half a week left, and we're the target for or the returns of this month have actually been 8%, which has been brilliant because we've been able to catch back over the first week and a half, let's say, and been able to put ourselves into a very, very sustainable position on doing it.
Now, okay, so with the well, yeah, well, that's good to hear. So like roughly, well, you don't know what the average is yet, but I guess at this point, like I said, it's on par to be about 8% for the month.
For this month, yeah, our expected is to return about 125% year on year,
okay,
with a 20% growth year on year.
Okay, and so with the forever packs, now this is the other, you know, I guess not elephant in the room, but of course everyone's like, all right, okay, nothing is forever. What's going on with this statement about forever packs? Is that the right description to give these packs? Like, what does that mean for you guys, and what does that mean for members?
Yeah, so mentality-wise, why can't it last forever? But no, on the real factor, guys, obviously I'm going to die at some point. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, will there be someone that's going to take over from me? I very much expect so. But the idea of forever packs is just that it doesn't have a low maturity rate. You know, it's forever until the business is while the business is profitable. With the business model of it using 20% to constantly grow the business as well, there's no reason for the business to stop. Our overheads are low in comparison to the profits regularly made. There's no.
Well, I mean, so does the comp, because before, here's the thing that, you know, a lot of people who were seasoned members, right, who started with you guys back in the, I think you guys started in October of 2018, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so because I remember when the 1 year anniversary came in October, we were like, "Yay, it's been a year! This is like the first platform in a long time to make it a year."
Yeah.
But of course, you know, for those people who were used to their ad packs expiring after roughly 100 days, right? Because it was great that you guys were paying, which is another point to bring up. But you know, you were paying. You know, Monday through Sunday. So within 100 days, the ad packs would expire. How is that going to play out if people basically they can compound to the moon, and then, you know, you guys are still, you know, it not necessarily, I guess as you already stated, but you're not stuck to, or, you know what I mean, this commitment of having to pay out 1% per day. But again, if no one's ad packs expire, then ultimately they can keep stacking their ad packs until, I mean, and make, you know, ungodly amounts of money if they were to continue to compound.
Yeah, do it. My personal, the thing is, obviously, is sustainability and stability is the most important thing to us, and we're not prepared to budge on that for any reason. Yeah, if you want to build your account, build your account. If you want to build it up to high levels, do it. My personal thing that I've been for those that I speak to, guys, what I say is to whatever you need as an income to be able to give you the freedom and everything that you need, build up to that level. So whether that's, I don't know, if you need like 25, 30K, something like that a year, build your account to that position with the expected earnings of about 125% per year. That's your safety net. That's your, and I'm happy to sit here and say that the company is in a very stable position, that the earnings are very, very stably made, that I think we're actually going to probably do better, and that we've been quite conservative, but the company is as sustainable can be. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, your confidence is, you know, it brings a peace of mind. You know, of course, I mean, people, well, shouldn't, you know, I tell people, you know what I mean, don't trust anyone, because people, as I say, they can't even trust their own damn selves. You know what I mean? To not eat that donut, or to not eat that, you know what I mean? To take that, whatever it is. And, you know, they literally can't trust their own conscience when it comes to like making certain decisions. But I am glad to hear, you know what I mean, that you have a full faith. I mean, of course, you know, it's your company, so you've got to have but at the same time, you have more insight than anyone. You know,
I was going to say, I can obviously see the inside of the system as well. But the thing is, really for us, is that we didn't want to follow the whole point of why we started My Passive Trades was to offer people stability and a way of being able to work online, to be able to earn passively, to be able to think. We didn't want to follow the routine that so many different things go through. And it's my opinion, but the majority of issues out there with a lot of the systems is that we know that have obviously felt before, is when there's a problem, they haven't reacted to it. And for us, obviously, we saw a situation and we've taken that and strengthened upon it. You know, we've built ourselves a system so that it can't happen in that way again. And moving forward, we only pay profits. You know, so just like every other business that's lasted God knows how long, we are now in that same category.
All right. Well, and I guess the other question that I was going to ask, you know, related to the payouts. So now the payouts are only on Wednesdays. Is that correct?
Yes, once per week.
Okay. And yeah, because I for, I don't know, it was like a week or so, I was like, where's the payments? Because I couldn't, I guess I missed the video or whatever. I missed the announcement. And I guess, you know, I guess I'm also putting out on this interview that if, you know, you are able to, and it may be on the website, but if you could make a note of it, like as a something to the effect that, you know, it's in members' accounts, that they know that payments are only once a week on Wednesdays. I mean, I would imagine that the server times differ, so it doesn't need to be like set. But anyways, my suggestion, if it's not already there, is to have it placed, because I think a lot of people are confused about if they're not on the Facebook, because you know how people are, man. They can barely keep up with.
We had it on the login for like 3-4 days.
Okay.
So nobody and everybody had logged in. We can tell that every single user had logged in during that period. Every active user had logged in. So I mean, if people don't read what's right in front of them, you know.
But you say, but it's no longer there though now, yeah?
No. It was there for the first 3 or 4 days after we'd made the change, and I mean, it was a pop-up that you could not avoid. If you logged in, you could not see it.
No, yeah. I mean, again, just playing devil's advocate, that I think that
I'll take it on board and I'll make sure we'll get a note put there.
I think, yeah, people will, you know what I mean, just to give you guys that much more, those little details that people are like, you know what I mean, they can't they can't talk any, like, you know what I mean, whatever about the fact that, I don't even know exactly when I'm getting paid. It's not common knowledge, but so yeah. I'll leave it at that. And I'm trying to think about some of the other points to make for this interview, because I think if it's okay with you, I'll actually probably put this into 2 parts so that we can have our interview, and then on the back half of this, we can run through, I mean, of course, we'll do it now, but I'll make it a separate video that I upload where we're essentially going through a tutorial, which I know that is it Lydia I think she's done some maybe tutorials as well, that you guys have tutorials for how to make your withdrawals, and to go through the whole process from kind of like point A to, point whatever. So if that's all right with you, and of course,
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, because again, this interview, I know how a lot of times people's attention spans, you know what I mean? They can't sit. I mean, I love like sitting through a podcast sometimes. Like I watch the Joe Rogan show, like, sit through like a 2-hour podcast, and it's all good for me. But of course, so many people can't sit through like a, 4.5-minute video before they're, I gotta, yeah. So, I think that, well, the other question that I wanted to ask, I guess, is to kind of encompass in this interview, which you've already made points about in another interview, or rather a video that you did, but about Polaris Universal, and essentially what it encompasses. I think, I know that there are a lot of members who already know, but obviously there are a lot of members who are still hearing about My Passive Trades for the first time. They don't know that it is a part of, the umbrella of Polaris Universal, and that you guys have a variety of things going on in the background. So if you could just give a brief, I guess something of a overview of what that encompasses.
Okay, so first and foremost, Polaris Universal, it has its own trading team, of which we're trading crypto, forex, etc., like we've already discussed. Outside of that, though, we also have our own social media platform, very similar to Facebook, allowing calls, etc., etc. That's called Chatterbox. We have our own global property advertising portal, which is something similar to Rightmove or realestate.com, if you don't know what they are. Something similar to that, but an affiliate-based one, and it's completely global. We also have our own blockchain, which is the Eureka blockchain, Eureka network, of which is it is a half fork of Quantum, which has the best benefits of Ethereum and also best parts of Bitcoin, all put into one blockchain, allowing for tokens, etc., to be built over the top, etc., etc., etc. We also have our own centralized trading platform, which we fully own, which is called Eureka X, which is an exchange which acts like a central hub of all of the major exchanges. So pretty much we add lots of different exchanges in, and you can actually with one click, you can move from one exchange to trade on another exchange from one interface. Brilliant, check it out yourself. ImpulseX, we own 50% of. We are the development company for ImpulseX. It is another centralized exchange that has its own community, let's say, that we do the development work, development support for them, and we own 50% of that. We also own 50% of a company that imports bikes from particularly Harley Davidsons, from the US to the UK. So there we go, a completely offline business, but just something else that we have fully involved with there. That's live. I think that's it right now. We do have shares in a number of smaller businesses as well, day-to-day businesses. But yeah, we have a number of things coming as well. Do you want me to cover what's coming in real brief?
Yeah, sure. I mean, again, we might as well knock it out right now with getting people to understand what the full thing that you guys are doing encompasses.
Okay, so in real brief, we have our own version of YouTube that's coming out this week.
Yeah, I remember you had mentioned something about that, earlier when we were talking.
No screening, no shadow banning, nothing like that. We have our own version of Instagram that's probably about 2 to 3 weeks off as well. We have, like the global advertising for Auto Trader, for anybody who knows Auto Trader, we have a very similar type of site for that, but that will be global as well.
Yeah, Auto Trader, I know those magazines. They Automobile Trader.
Yeah, no, well, Auto Trader is a website where everybody goes, everybody in the UK uses it. It's where you go if you wanted to buy or sell a car.
Right. Yeah, but Auto Trader, I've heard of it, yeah.
So we have our own version of that ready as well. Obviously, that is actually ready to go, but we will not be rolling that out until the other side of the pandemic. Obviously, with nobody going to be able to go out, it's not much use. Nobody needs to advertise to try and sell a car.
Right.
We have our own version of Fiverr, our own dating app. The dating app is, I think the programmer's told me, about 4 weeks offer full completion. So that's with blockchain integration into it as well. So yeah, we have a lot coming over the next, let's say, well, from when we first announced it, so about 6 to 8 weeks, really is the delivery date for everything.
Jesus, man, I'm gonna need like a well, I mean, telephone book is outdated, but something to that effect to like like flip through all of the different variety of businesses and ventures and things that you guys are in.
For us, if I can explain just one thing as well, for us, we're a company as well, so we hire programmers. We have our own tech center in India, and we have a number of very skilled programmers that work, and we have to hire them because they run obviously the exchange, the blockchain, and MPT, and the other crucial sites that we have. But in all of these businesses that I'm talking about as well, we have teams in place that will be taking them forward. We provide the development work, and I provide just basic kind of mentorship, basic helping them with running the business as well. But they're already involved in the industries of which the particular business model is. So from our perspective, we don't put loads of extra work on ourselves, so to speak.
Right.
They do the day-to-day running of it. We just provide the technical support, and obviously a little bit of guidance if needed. But it means that we can continuously grow as well. So obviously as they become profitable as well, we're able to build upon our development team, which means that we can keep expanding that way as well. I am an absolute, I'm addicted to the concept of something being self-sustainable, and being able to constantly grow in using resources that it has anyway. So this, for example, we have to have the programmers. A lot of the time, those programmers don't even need to be doing anything, but they need to be there in case they are needed. So they have free time in which they're able to go on and develop things at the same time as being available should they be needed. Say for any bug fixing or anything like that.
Right.
But we have to have programmers 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's definitely refreshing to know that you guys are not sitting around waiting on my passive trades to make a gazillion dollars that you've got. Well, like you said,
the other way, I'm gonna make my passive trades a gazillion dollars. Yeah.
Well, gazillion, like whatever number up there that is.
Whatever that's worth next week, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess shoot for the stars, so you'll hit the moon and all that, right? So, yeah, no doubt, man. Well, yeah, I mean, and so I guess not to get too far off in this interview, but how can members, because I guess I want to keep it on track with, like I said, being able to segue into my passive trades. And I think, if you're up for it, man, we'll do another interview to talk about some of the separate things like Chatterbox and some of the other things that are separate. I mean, under the Polaris Universal, but we'll need more time to dig through. But I'm curious though. But going back to the YouTube and the Instagram thing that you guys were doing, what's the launch for that possibly?
Our version of YouTube will be this coming week.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, the site's live. They're just not telling you what it is yet.
Yeah. Well, you'll be sure to have to tell me on the side, sir, so I can get early dibs. And it's a decentralized situation like Library or BitChute or something like that, or no?
No. It's not built over the blockchain. The honest truth is, obviously, some of them are built over the blockchain. They face a lot of issues at the minute. The blockchain isn't quite ready for. Blockchain technology in general isn't ready for mass data moving, and we have a number of features that allow us to draw over lots of data from YouTube and a number of the other video sites as well. So we wouldn't be able to take advantage of that if it was actually built over the blockchain.
Gotcha. Well, anyways, we'll touch on that again, like I said, on another interview that we can dig into it a bit more. But But hey, man, for at least the interview portion, yeah, like I said, I just wanted to pick your brain a bit and get, I think, some of the questions that are circulating, speculation rather, that's circulating about, you know what I mean, since you guys have, you know, as we said, restructured the business model for, in particular, My Passive Trade. So, but yeah, man, thanks. And again, you know, like I said, we'll segue into this, and we'll let people watch the tutorial of getting into, because I actually, yeah, I've got some money waiting for me over there on My Passive Trades, and yeah, we can go through just a quick, you know, easy 1, 2, 3, 4, however many steps it is now to do that. But I mean, as I said before, I'm happy to know that we have more options now than just, you know, withdrawing Bitcoin. So, but yeah, we'll go ahead and segue over for people that are curious, and let me share my screen. Hey, but we'll go ahead and sign off right quick, though, for people who are watching this as an interview and watching the end of it. Sayonara, and yeah, we love you. So let me go ahead and make sure that you, if you are going to want to see the tutorial for how to take My Passive Trades, your earnings, and move it into either a, because yeah, you guys have the Eureka wallet, I think, which is now an extension for the Chrome browser.
Yeah.
And that, you know, allows you to have an offline, well, it's not offline, but a wallet separate. But we'll talk about that here as we segue in. So, all right, hasta la vista, everyone, and boom. All right, so